Okay, let's dive right in. What if I told you that brushing your teeth isn't just about having a bright smile? What if it could actually be the key, maybe the overlooked key, to unlocking a whole bunch of health issues? Things like chronic fatigue, anxiety, even that joint pain doctors can't quite figure out.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But that's exactly what we're exploring today.
Yeah, our mission for this deep dive is to really explore how oral hygiene, specifically dental plaque, can, radically impact your whole body. And then we want to share some really practical, natural solutions you might not have come across before.
What's really fascinating here, I think, is how often we just overlook the mouth. As the starting point for these bigger systemic health issues, we tend to think of health in compartments, right? Treating symptoms here and there. But the sources we looked at, they show it's all deeply connected. So today, we're going to try and connect those dots. We want to show the link between what's happening in your mouth and the surprising ripple effects it can have everywhere else.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting, maybe even a little alarming, actually. Our sources suggest that problems starting in the mouth can lead to this huge list of other problems. It's kind of unbelievable. And we're not just talking about bad breath or cavities. This goes much, much deeper. Like the direct impact on your digestion, gastritis, that constant acidity, even GERD, gastroesophageal reflux.
Yeah, and how many people are taking medication for those things without ever considering their mouth as the source?
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there, does it? It goes further down.
No, it definitely continues into the intestines.
Huh.
The research points towards things like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or just general dysbiosis, that imbalance in your gut bacteria.
So the bacteria from your mouth are actually swallowed and then mess things up in the gut.
Essentially, yes, they can travel down, disrupt the delicate balance, maybe compete with the good bacteria, or even change the gut environment like the pH level. And that disruption, that's when you get symptoms like constant bloating, that abdominal distension, or really slow digestion. You know that feeling like you've eaten a cow, as one source put it, after just having a small salad?
Wow. It really highlights how interconnected it all is.
Yeah.
Plaque in your mouth leading to feeling bloated after a salad.
It's a direct pathway.
And you mentioned it's not just local gut stuff either. It becomes systemic.
Absolutely. That's where it gets even more concerning. The sources talk about endotoxemia.
Endotoxemia. Okay, what's that exactly?
Basically, it's when harmful stuff like toxins from these bacteria, not necessarily the live bacteria themselves, leak from the mouth or gut into your bloodstream.
Huh.
This triggers this low level but constant inflammation throughout your whole body.
Like your body's always in fight mode, but silently.
Precisely. A sort of chronic internal battle. And that can show up as that unexplained joint pain everywhere, or that fatigue that just never goes away no matter how much you rest.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How many people are walking around with these vague symptoms?
And the reach keeps going. It even hits neurological and mental health. The material we reviewed connects poor oral health to things like intense anguish, anxiety, depression, even that frustrating brain fog where you just can't think clearly.
Brain fog, blurred vision even. It's just incredible how widespread the effects can be.
Yeah, and sometimes it links to specific diagnoses people might have received, like fibromyalgia, which the sources note seems more common in women, or tinnitus, that constant ringing in the ears.
It's a whole spectrum of issues, and people might be suffering without ever knowing the potential root cause could be, well, right in their mouth.
And that brings us to a really important point, connecting this to the bigger picture. So many people find themselves just, bouncing from one doctor's office to another. They get diagnoses, they get treatments, but nothing really improves. And the frustrating reason, as the source material bluntly puts it, is often because nobody looks at the mouth.
Why is that? Why is this connection so often missed? Especially when the mouth is literally the start of the whole digestive system.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe it's the compartmentalization of medicine, maybe something else.
And it's funny because intuitively we kind of get it, right? The sources even brought up horror movies. How often does the villain have those, black, disorganized, sharp, dirty teeth? It's meant to be repulsive.
That visceral reaction, it's like our body instinctively knows that signifies something unhealthy, a warning sign.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about plaque itself. We all know it's that sticky stuff on our teeth, but our sources paint a much grimmer picture. What is it really on a deeper level?
Well, it's not just gunk. It's described as a complex biofilm. Think of it like a little city for microbes. It can be yellowish or sometimes almost transparent, so you might not even see it clearly.
And what's in this biofilm?
It's a mix. Bacteria, definitely, but also our own body cells, like skin cells from the mouth lining, and even immune cells, leukocytes. It's like our body's trying to fight this bacterial colony, but the cells get trapped in the sticky matrix too.
So it's bacteria plus our own cells, all stuck together.
Right, and the sources are pretty stark here. They say it can literally infect our organism, and they specifically mention the brain as being vulnerable.
Infect the brain. That's
It
serious.
highlights the potential severity.
Hmm.
But to really get it, we need to talk about the oral microbiota itself. How is it different from the gut microbiota we hear so much about?
That's a great point. Everyone's talking about gut health these days. But the mouth has its own unique ecosystem, right? The oral microbiota, bacteria, viruses, even parasites sometimes.
Exactly, and here's a stat that really blew my mind from the research. Up to 50% of the microorganisms found in the mouth can also be found in fecal matter, and vice versa.
Wow, 50% overlap.
Yeah, which, when you stop and think about it, makes perfect sense. The mouth is the beginning of digestion, and fecal matter is the result of digestion. There's a direct link.
Okay, so plaque isn't just normal mouth bacteria having a party. It's something else.
The sources describe it almost as an alien microbial ecosystem, or at the very least, a very unbalanced one. And the plaque itself acts like a protective shield for these problematic bacteria. It helps them stick around, prevents saliva from washing them away easily, lets them multiply.
So it protects the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then how does that cause problems?
Well, think about when you eat. Everything you consume, food, drinks, emulsifies and mixes right in with this sticky plaque.
So it becomes like a cocktail of food and bacteria.
Pretty much. A salad, as one source called it, of food bits, bacteria, maybe even those immune cells we mentioned. Some of it stays in the mouth, obviously, contributing to bad breath or gum issues. But a significant chunk gets swallowed. It passes into the digestive tract, and that's how it directly infects your gut, sending reinforcements, essentially.
It's like constantly seeding your digestive system with the wrong microbes.
Exactly. And this constant low-grade infection mechanism, it can have really serious long-term consequences. The sources state pretty clearly that if you combine this chronic infection from the mouth with, say, a weakened immune system, the result could be something like a rheumatic disease or directly cancer.
Cancer. They specifically mention cancer.
Yeah, stomach cancer was mentioned specifically, but also potentially affecting the whole digestive tract, the joints, even the brain, linking back to that earlier point.
Okay, that's heavy. It really underscores why we need to take plaque seriously.
Absolutely. It's not just cosmetic.
So after hearing all that, what can people actually do about it? This sounds potentially overwhelming.
Right, but the good news is there are practical steps, and surprisingly accessible ones. But first things first, there's a crucial foundation. Diet.
Diet again. It always comes back to diet, doesn't it?
It really does. The sources are emphatic. You can't effectively fight plaque if you're constantly eating, quote, junk food, sweets, and sugar.
Why is that? Does sugar just feed the bacteria?
It feeds the bacteria, yes, but it also modifies the dental structure itself, potentially making enamel weaker or changing the mouth's pH. And crucially, that kind of diet also weakens the immune system overall.
So you're feeding the enemy and lowering your defenses, like trying to bail water out of a boat while drilling holes in the bottom?
That's a perfect analogy. So cleaning up the
Nice.
diet is step one, non-negotiable.
Okay, step one, diet. And obviously, good brushing is essential, right?
Of course, good technique. Brushing regularly. The sources suggest using an organic toothpaste if possible, just to avoid adding unnecessary chemicals into your system. That's the baseline.
Right, the basics. But what if you're doing all that eating well, brushing diligently, and the plaque still doesn't seem to budge, or comes back super quickly?
Exactly. That's when we need to look beyond just brushing. And this is where some natural remedies come in. Some might be familiar, others maybe less so.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What have we got?
Well, first, a fairly common one, bicarbonate or baking soda. But the sources suggest a specific way to use it. Not just in toothpaste, but applying a little powder directly onto your wet toothbrush.
Just the powder itself.
Yeah, just a bit of powder. Brush gently with that, then rinse and spit really well. The idea is its mild abrasiveness helps physically disrupt the biofilm, and its alkalinity helps neutralize the acids the bacteria produce.
Yeah.
Simple, but effective.
Okay, baking soda. Got it. What else? You mentioned something called oral peeling.
Yes, this involves using coconut oil or even aloe vera could be incorporated. Both are known for being anti-inflammatory and antibacterial.
Coconut oil pulling, right. I've heard of that.
Exactly, oil pulling. The method described is swishing about a spoonful of coconut oil, maybe mixed in half a glass of water, or just straight oil around your mouth for 1 or 2 minutes. Then, crucially, spit it out. Don't swallow it.
Why just 1 or 2 minutes? Some people say longer.
The sources mentioned 1 or 2 minutes as effective for this peeling concept, perhaps implying frequency over duration. The key is the oil binds to bacteria and toxins. And the great thing they highlighted, no contraindications. You can do it as many times a day as you like, basically no limit.
So it's gentle enough for frequent use.
Very gentle, yes. And it can help with other signs of plaque buildup too, like if your voice sounds a bit different or you have weird saliva buildup or that fetid smell that causes, well, repulsion. It tackles the source.
Okay, coconut oil peeling. That sounds manageable. Now, you mentioned something really unusual before we started recording. Banana peels.
Ah, yes. The dental peeling with banana peel. This one was described as truly spectacular in the sources. It sounds completely bizarre, I know.
It really does. How on earth does that work?
Well, the key is using a ripe banana peel. The more ripe the banana, the better, apparently, because the ripe peel has a higher concentration of minerals like potassium, magnesium, and manganese.
Okay. Minerals. And what do they do on your teeth?
The idea is these minerals help gently lift or chelate the plaque off the tooth surface. They kind of absorb into the enamel and attract the mineral deposits in the plaque. It's almost like a gentle remineralization and cleansing process.
Fascinating. So how do you actually do it? Rub the outside of the peel?
No, the inside.
Yeah.
The soft, white, pithy part. So after you brush, maybe after oil pulling too, you take a piece of that ripe banana peel inner lining, place it against your teeth, and just rub gently for about 2 minutes.
Rubbing banana peel on your teeth.
Okay, stick with me. Then you just wait about 15-20 minutes. Let those minerals sit and do their thing. After the waiting time, you rinse your mouth out or maybe give a quick brush again and spit.
And you'll notice something.
Yes. Your teeth might feel slightly rougher to your tongue, and the inside of your lip might feel like it has greater friction against the teeth. According to the sources, these sensations are good signs. They indicate the peel has had an effect, cleaning the surface.
Huh. And is this safe?
Like the coconut oil, the sources say it has no contraindications. So yeah, seems safe to try. It's certainly unique.
Definitely unique. So putting it all together then, we've got the foundational diet changes, the essential proper brushing, then adding things like baking soda, the coconut oil peeling, and maybe even this banana peel, dental peeling.
Exactly. The sources suggest that combining these strategies can lead to genuinely exceptional results, not just for your mouth, but by extension for your whole body's health.
It really paints a picture of a holistic approach, doesn't it? Using natural methods to tackle this root issue.
It does. It's empowering, I think, because these are mostly simple, accessible things people can try. So just to recap the big takeaways. First, that fundamental, often missed connection between what's happening in your mouth and your overall health, your systemic well-being, it's profound.
Right. From digestion to pain to mental clarity, it's all linked.
And second, that there are effective, natural steps you can take beyond just brushing, things that directly target that harmful plaque biofilm.
It gives people concrete actions, which is great. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. Next time you're dealing with some kind of health puzzle, something that just doesn't add up, or even just when you're reaching for your toothbrush in the morning, just remember, your mouth isn't separate. It's not just for eating and talking. It's truly the gateway to your entire health.
A mirror to your inner state.
Exactly. And what if? What if the answer to some of those really persistent health questions you've been asking has been, well, literally right under your nose this whole time?
Something to chew on, indeed.
Definitely something to think about.